contenders. He's a former Players' Championship Finals and Grand Slam quarter-finalist. It's Hollywood, Chris Dobey.
I feel the floor when I'm on stage, yo, you ask for more. I'm on the edge, I know the last. I work real hard to collect my cash. Tick, 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 take the time. When I'm going for mine. Open your ears and you will hear it. I tell you this, cause there's no limit.
And his opponent from Kettering, England, number 41 on the PDC Order of Merit, and a winner on the Youth and Challenge Tour, and quite possibly the fastest player on planet Earth, Rapid Ricky Evans.
Disappointed. Let down, no sign of a mask from Ricky Evans, but nevertheless a very flamboyant walk. And what else would you expect from the fastest player on planet Earth? For this, the final match of the afternoon session, and a really good-looking encounter to look forward to as well here, because we've got Ricky Evans, the number 10 seed, against a very talented young man in the shape of Chris Dobey. Now 29 years old, Chris Dobey. And a very good win for Chris yesterday, coming through his first round match against Steve West. A tough assignment for Dobey, but coming through with an average of just under 89, 3 180s to boot as well, and one or two signs of room for improvement, I feel, from Dobey as well. He was well aware it was going to be a tough day yesterday. This is going to be tough as well, but Ricky Evans, since having had that success earlier this year on the European Tour, making the final in Hildesheim, just hasn't been having everything his own way on the European Tour.
First leg, Ricky to throw first. Game on.
Didn't qualify for the German Darts Open. Seeded in Austria. He lost his opening match to Labanauskas. Seeded again in Sindelfingen. Lost his opener to Keegan Brown. And just the one win in round 2 against Zwolle before a 6-5 defeat by Dave Chisnell. Still signs that Ricky Evans isn't quite acclimatising to this schedule of starting on a Saturday, Paul Nicholson.
Yeah, I think that's very accurate. I think he's got some adjusting to do, that's for sure. But it's a nice position to try and adjust, that's for sure. But I think he's just so used to playing on a Friday and then being ready for a game against the seed on a Saturday. It's a really odd thing to get used to, but the way he's played over the last 18 months, I'm sure he'll adjust. Just having a little chat with someone who is probably going to be a seed very shortly. That's Nathan Aspinall. He was just passing our commentary position on his way to watch this game. I think he's downstairs now. Good friends with both of these players.
61.
And I think yesterday, the one thing that I could say about the Dobey performance was just how mature it was, because 59. He could have easily capitulated, and in the middle of that game he didn't. He held himself together and he pressed forward in a very mature fashion.
100, Ricky 122.
Yeah, and again it was a classic case of just coming through for Chris Dobey. There was no need to be too concerned with numbers and statistics, because 70. He was up against a man in the shape of Steve West, who was looking to make up for lost time on the European Tour as well. I think you could say the same to an extent of Chris Dobey as well, although he has discovered the heart of qualifying, although he's just lost his way there.
18.
Yeah, 2 big numbers missed. Should have had one dart at a double, didn't get any. Didn't even get one at the bull. But Ricky gets one at double 16 and misses and gives Dobey another chance. 52. That's very similar to what happened yesterday for him. He was getting opportunities that he probably shouldn't have got from Steve. Double 8 last start in hand.
36.
How many opportunities does Chris Dobey need? Evans now returns looking at double 16. And he too is having trouble finding his way through. And he pokes it in the middle somehow. Paul Nicholls looks absolutely amazed that he did find his way through with that final dart, or were you just a little bit exasperated at how long it took them to finish that one off?
Just amazed at that dart. It was just a really good, raw, talented shot. I mean, the only way I can really describe how difficult that is if you've got an Australian rules football on your wrong foot and you're on the side of the oval and having to swerve it in, and you actually get the referee putting 2 fingers up saying, that is 6 points. If you don't follow AFL, then that was probably a load of gibberish.
140.
I don't, but I did watch a match recently. There's a mini league in London, ladies team, well, a few ladies teams, all made up of Australians and what have you. And there's a designated pitch in that part of the world as well. It's huge, isn't it?
100.
Aussie rules pitch.
Yeah, size of a cricket oval. And it's a fabulous game to watch because it never stops. It's really fast.
92.
And really physical.
127.
And this one's going to be fast. I'm sure it won't be physical, but it should be a shot at the ball. But it's a double 8. He's gone for the treble again. This time he misses again on double 8 to the left.
129.
Finds
the treble 19. Oh, double.
93.
That was the only way to go. That was the right 16. Shot. There's nothing Hollywood about that from Rapid. But he very nearly and probably should have got that second double.
Yeah, with Dobey on 16, he had to go that way. It gave him the best opportunity to win the leg.
No score.
Well, those darts just got in the way.
36.
And Ricky does get another shot at double 18. That's the switch. And he doesn't get another shot.
Score.
Cardinal sin.
Requires 16.
Yeah, he's busted score there as well, so maybe a let off here for Chris Dobey, who's not been firing on all cylinders as far as the finishing is concerned so far, but gets away with that one, and I think he can just put that one behind him and move on.
I think Chris Dobey really needs to make the match play this year
46.
for more than one reason. One, he wants to be there. He wants to play at the Winter Gardens. He's been there as a spectator. He wants to get on that stage. That's one. Secondly, I think he needs to get to the match play so he can stop thinking about getting to the match play. Because in his interview yesterday after beating Steve West, he was talking about how Steve and
36.
himself were both vying for the world match play. I think once he makes it, the shackles can come off. He can finally say, you know, it's just about playing darts as opposed to trying to qualify for things. It's like a scarf around your neck that you just can't get rid of.
And the thing about with Dobey is he's a player who seems to be eternally 100. On the cusp of various cut-off points. And just to clarify exactly where we are with the world match play picture, Dobey is currently inside or the right side of the dotted line. £33,000 on the Pro Tour Order of Merit, so he had 2,250 in hand on Anderson, who was just below the dotted line. Anderson, of course, winning yesterday has further muddied the waters, but James Wilson and Ryan Searle are the players in danger. But Dobey can really take care of business this weekend with, well, certainly a run to the final day will do him the world of good, and of course with further tournaments to come. But this is a really good opportunity just to, assure himself, shall we say.
I was talking to Stephen Bunting earlier about this very same subject, and I just said one thing. Well, win the tournament and you sort a lot of things out. Don't forget about actually wanting to win this title. And by thinking of something else, you might take your eye off the ball. But the eye is on tops right now for Dobey, and that is much more pinpoint for a 2-1 advantage.
Well, I think Bunting will be okay. I'm pretty sure of that. That would be his 6th successive appearance at the Winter Gardens since his move over from the BDO circuit. Bunting sitting relatively on 34,250 plus whatever he makes this weekend. Points on the floor there for Dobey as well. I think there was 60 of them.
Yeah, I agree. That was 60 on the floor. Sometimes you just can't manipulate that dart enough and create enough room, and it has to bow to the floor. Do you have any idea why Chris Dobey chose black and grey for his new dart shirt?
You may have to enlighten me on that.
Do you remember an old Newcastle United strip from the 80s that was grey with a very small black pinstripe.
I do indeed.
The exact same colour palette as what he has on his flights and his shirt. I think it's paying homage to his beloved Newcastle United, and if I'm not wrong, I think he's got that very football shirt as well. It's one of his favourites.
There was one as well. It was similar. It was that colour grey with a sort of a black and white band across the front. I remember it well.
There's been some horrors by NUFC. The purple and maroon one I particularly despised, so nobody should copy that one. But Ricky Evans should duplicate with the ball.
96.
Dobey can go 3-1 up here.
Yeah, got the break in the last leg, and this is for a hold of throw for 3-1. And that's more like it. He was a little bit ropey on his finishing at the outset of this match, but he's recovered very well indeed, and I think that makes it 3 from 9 right now.
Very similar performance to yesterday from Chris. He's staying patient. I think his temperament is something that a lot of young players would like to mimic. He doesn't get flustered, he doesn't get annoyed, but he does get 180s thrown against him, and he's just had one himself. All of a sudden, this game is starting to take a little bit of a different shape. It's starting to score very heavily.
Yeah, it's just suddenly come to life, hasn't it, with the scoring, as we always suspected it would.
99.
We are going to see this game a lot in the next 10 years. These guys going at it, hopefully at the thick end of tournaments. There's a lot of people who go bull here.
100.
76 with a 25. There's a guaranteed shot at a double as opposed to a guaranteed bullseye. Well, it's a bullseye that Ricky gets, and consequently he misses 2 for the leg. And Dobey can steal once more.
81.
How many chances is Dobey get this weekend from misses from his opponent?
He's pinned that treble 19 with his first dart in hand. Double 6 for a 4-1 lead. This would be a second break of throw, and he's got the second break of throw, and he's really punished Ricky Evans there. And Chris Dobey, the way he's gone about his business, okay, he's been given a helping hand in a couple of legs, but you've got to admire that as well, because sometimes it's all well and good being given the opportunities, but it's how you take care of business.
Yeah, too right. He's mopping up as good as a Zamboni, and that's pretty good.
100.
Well, the scoring stakes in this game. Look at those first 9 averages. Both over 113. That's where they want to be.
I'm pretty sure Ricky Evans
100.
or Chris Dobey certainly would have been well aware of the fact that when he came into this match, Dobey, he was aware that he'd never beaten Ricky Evans in 3 previous attempts. Admittedly, they've not met for a couple of years, or just over a couple of years ago. They've never met on the European tour as well, but Evans has won all 3 previous matches, and they were
58.
first to 6 encounters as well.
I think that's a very good thing to say, Rob, because a lot of the games that we talk about when they have head-to-heads, we can pretty much discount the ones that aren't the same format we're looking at right now, because the complexity of best of 11 is totally different to best of 19, which is totally different to a World Championship game, which is sets.
94.
They're totally different. Tops for Ricky Evans.
Long way off with that double 20, closer 44. With the double 10, but close is no good for Ricky Evans right now. He needs to find finishes.
Well, we got the word from there about how he felt about that
94. We require 10.
Double 5 is good.
Ricky Evans.
Ricky Evans gets within 2.
7 flag, Ricky to throw first.
Valuable break as well. Chris Dobey still got a break in the bank.
140.
Yeah, Ricky was excellent in Hildesheim. That was probably the most mature tournament of his career so far. He was having fun, of course, but he kept himself together very well.
21.
And the challenge since then, like you mentioned, Rob, has just been to recalibrate and
60.
figure out how to start a tournament on a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's something that Chris Dobey hasn't done yet. He's not been seeded for a European Tour event. Of course, the seedings for Euro events are 16-fold. On the
60.
Pro Tour, it's 32. And that's something that Dobey has been seeded for many, many times, as well as Ricky.
140.
We have a new #1 seed this week, and that is Ian White First time he's been seeded for a European Tour event, and I think he's very proud of that. And we will see him later on this evening against Eine kleine Dartspieler, or the guy as I likened to Uta from The Simpsons yesterday, Martin Schindler.
Yeah, Schindler wiped the floor with Kim Villianen yesterday, 6-0.
60.
Winner of this to face either Rob Cross or Kirk Shepherd, so either a former world champion or a former world championship finalist awaits the winner of this one.
Ricky just polishes off that 102 like it was no bother at all. And it's 4-3, and Dobey's got a rapid man on his shoulders waiting to pounce. He's got to hold his throw now to get himself within one, but Ricky has been kicking a lot better in the last two legs. He's been scoring just as heavily as before, but his doubles and approach play have improved.
140.
Well, that crowd have certainly played their part today. They've been brilliant this afternoon, I've got to say, and many of them will be back for more this evening as well, with a double header of tickets available for the crowd today.
Yeah, they were sensational earlier on this afternoon. They've been treated to a lot of amazing darts this afternoon, and they're going to get some more tonight. Some of the games are delicious.
57.
Yeah, Gerwyn Price, one of the form players at the moment, starts things off at 7-15. Let's just see what happens here with Dobey. He's hit a single 7 there. Just having a look to see where Evans is. No need to press any panic buttons just yet.
See, that's why I'm not sure about that 25 first on 1-2-1. I think it's... I'm just not sold on it. Someone's going to have to sell it better to him. But he has set up the shot, so who might grumble? Yeah, 6 darts from here for Dobey with 40 on the board for a 5-3 lead.
Chris Dobey closing in.
Game on.
Rob Cross is involved in the second match of the night against Kirk Shepherd. Peter Wright also returns to the European Tour tonight as well. James Wade against Nielsen, that could be fairly tasty and fairly feisty, I imagine, as well at times. Adrian Lewis against Kyle Anderson has plenty of special ingredients too. Mensur against Gabriel Clements in the battle of the two German speakers. The defending champion, of course, Mensur. Ian White, the back-to-back winner on the Euro Tour, winning the last 2 tournaments against Schindler, and Jermaine Watimena against Michael Smith, rounding things off. Rounding things off now, though, Dobey against Evans in the afternoon session. 5-3 to the good, and Ricky Evans very much in danger of suffering what would be a third second round defeats in the space of 4 European Tour events. Not good a reason for the number 10 seed.
I'm looking forward to watching Adrian Lewis later, because I've always said Adrian Lewis rested is a dangerous jackpot, and he is sufficiently rested. I think him against Kyle tonight is probably top billing. Ricky Evans has done a good job in this leg, giving him the opportunity of being 5 down. And what level 60. Is Dobey already thinking about the next leg?
Well, he will be thinking about it now, because Evans has been ruthless there on 81. Just a quick word about Lewis. Yeah, Lewis was a semi-finalist here 12 months ago, lost 7-6 to Mensur in that semi-final. Very, very unlucky. He had his chances, didn't take them, and maybe a sense of unfinished business about the 2-time world champion this weekend.
Yeah, it's a country that Adrian Lewis has not won in, and he's won in a lot of countries. 100. So maybe he's looking to put that little pin on the map. Dobey's just looking to punctuate his ticket for tomorrow.
42.
And scores of 42 aren't going to help him, especially when Evans is finding that 60 with darts 2 and 3, putting the pressure on. And in this English derby of younger generation players, who is going to hold it together the most? And Ricky Evans is looking to strike.
Yeah, he's stolen the darts here. Another treble will do him a world of good, but yeah, he's in good shape here. That 17 gives him the opportunity to at least finish off on 164, which is further evidence that he's obviously still thinking very clearly. One of the best counters in the game, I think, Ricky Evans as well. Not just a fast thrower, but a very fast counter as well.
122.
Well, that switch from Dobey, that may be the difference between these two. Or will it?
Oof.
Bullseye!
It's in, Ricky.
And will that treble 19 from Dobey on that last start
160.
switch be the difference? It
Treble
might.
19 finds for Dobey.
76.
Not enough.
Ricky required
A
25.
missed match dart for Chris Dobey. 2 darts at double 8 for Ricky Evans to take us all the way.
11th and final leg, Ricky to throw first.
Well, we said at the outset that this one was a very close one to call, and so it has proved to be.
85.
It's been in Dobey's hands most of this game, and Evans has just stuck in there, hoped that he would get an opportunity.
100.
Well, Chris has only missed one match start, and it wasn't that far away. So you can't really say that any player's been at fault here. It's just a good, close match. And who is going to blink first?
Well, he led 5-3. I suppose he's in danger of losing at 6-5, and Chris Dobey is a man who has suffered his fair share of 6-5 defeats as well on the European Tour.
140.
Chris didn't need Ricky to get that second treble. So now Chris has got to be smart here. Yeah, really smart. Back to the 60. Exemplary stuff from Chris Dobey.
That is superb. And he is down to a finish first on the Evans throw. Yes, 6-5 defeats by Kearney Wright this year on the Euro Tour.
160.
Joe Cullen last year. Barry Lynn even beaten 6-5 here last year as well. Dobey will not take out the 160.
That's a good miss. The last thing he needed was to go for that 25 and hit a 1. But he gets
50.
another 25. But Ricky's mistake has given Chris 6 starts from 160. And he doesn't make a mistake this time. This is what this game boils down to. One has a 2-darter, one has a 3-darter. Who's going to take it?
All about the first dart, which he finds. Fat 18 for double 16 for Chris Dobey.
70.
It's another missed match
Ricky
dart.
requires 72.
And Ricky Evans looking now at double 12. And he too
60.
has missed 2 match darts.
I didn't think he was going to miss the double 12 with that guy. It was perfect. All that was glanced on that barrel that it was in, and he came up short. And Dobey, 3 darts. Now this is what you want to get it to 2 races now.
And he's got 1 at double 4. And Ricky Evans will not be coming back to the Oki. Chris Dobey just about crawls over the finish line in the end, missing match darts at double 20 and double 16 before eventually sealing the deal. He was in very grave danger of squandering a 5-3 lead, and a little wonder he's wiping his brow after that one. But once again, it's a very early defeat for Ricky Evans on the European Tour. Second round defeats in 3 of his last 4 European Tour events, but encouraging signs once again for Chris Dobey, coming through against Steve West yesterday, and again another tough assignment today in the shape of the number 10 seed. And it's Dobey who goes through to the round of 16 tomorrow to face either the former world champion Rob Cross or Kirk Shepherd, who meet in our
Ladies and
second match
gentlemen, what a
of
thrilling
the
contest.
evening
Show your
session, which
appreciation
starts
for
at
Ricky
7:15
Evans.
with Gerwyn Price against Ryan Harrington, but so much more to look forward to as well. We'll leave the final word
And
with your
through
final
to
winner of the afternoon
third
session,
round, it's
Chris
Hollywood,
Dobey.
Chris Dobey. Chris, 4-1 up, 5-3 up, and then you made it very, very difficult for yourself there.
Yeah, it's typical Chris Dobey, isn't it? No, I come into the game, felt comfortable early on, and Ricky I didn't think he pushed us as much as he could early on in the game. And the end of the game shows what he can do, and I missed a couple of chances on the match, and to be honest, I thought it was all over there. But no, I rode me luck, and I got the monkey off my shoulder now. It's the first time I've beaten Ricky, but no, I'm looking forward to tomorrow now.
Yeah, but he showed why he's so difficult to beat. I mean, although he was struggling too, he never gave in. I mean, he missed loads of doubles, but he kept believing.
Yeah, definitely, that's what Ricky does. He's a hard player to play against. The speed, I said I wasn't going to get caught in his speed tonight, and I kind of did later on in the game, but your mind just doesn't think like that, and I'm just overwhelmed to get over the line in the end there.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. We're going to see him in the third round. Chris Dobey.